You're listening to the Money Hungry Mama podcast, real tips for moms who want more freedom, less stress, and a bank account that keeps up with their big dreams. Let's make it happen. Happy Teacher Appreciation Week. Welcome back to the Money Hungry Mama podcast, where we turn chaos into cash and mom life into money-making magic. Today's episode is a gold mine for teachpreneurs and creative mamas everywhere, because I'm sitting down with the one and only Miss Tech Queen, a powerhouse educator, content creator, and digital product queen who turned her classroom creativity into a thriving online business. We're diving into how she built her brand, sells on TPT, and balances business with real life. And spoiler, she keeps it so real. If you've ever wondered how to monetize your teaching magic or create scalable income without burning out, this episode is for you. Let's get into it. Hello, I am so excited to be here today with Dena Skoulos. Hello, Dena. Tell us all about you.
Hi, I'm Dena, and I'm from New Jersey. I'm an elementary teacher. I teach technology and like a STEM enrichment program for grades 1 through 4. I am also a mom to a 2.5-year-old named Natalia, and also run a business called Miss Tech Queen, which is behind me. So do a little bit of everything.
I love it. So that vendor fair that we met at, and you had an incredible book all about STEM, which led to a massive deep dive of the Miss Tech Queen. Tell us how that got started and how you started sharing your resources with the world.
Well, it's been since like 2018, which isn't that long ago, but I was always making all of my own resources for my own classroom. So I was creating a lot of my own stuff, my own activities, my own lessons. And actually somebody that someone I randomly talked to was like, there's this website, Teachers Pay Teachers, that you can upload your lessons and activities on. And at that point, I never really went on there. Like, I only went on there, I think, very few times when I taught 4th grade, maybe just getting free stuff. But I never knew that it was like actual teachers or people with stores. I just thought it was like a website that had all different activities. I started looking and I was like, oh, let me try to put 1 or 2 things on. And, a lot of people have a similar story, but like in the beginning, it was like, okay, I made, $15, like amazing. I put something on and it's type of selling, like let's see what happens. And then it just started to build and build. My first year, I remember the first month I made like 5. I couldn't believe it. And then like the first month I made $1,000. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. And it just started to build.
I love it. So for anybody listening that doesn't know, Teachers Pay Teachers is a website where teachers literally make resources. So what we do extra in the classroom, and we can list them for sale on that website. So the other teacher who wants to buy it can download the PDFs. They can do the STEM projects. That's what Miss Tech Queen is really good at for hers. You can go and you can buy all these extra resources. So when you found it, you said that your friend told you all about this resource. How many products do you currently have in your Teachers Pay Teachers store right now?
I think I'm like over 500.
Oh my.
Really worked. I worked like my butt off. The beginning was a couple, and for anyone that's not that familiar, like I always describe it sort of like Etsy, but for teachers, except it's just downloadable material. So you're not giving them anything physical. You're not mailing anything. It's just you upload files and people download it to their own computer. So it's great because it doesn't have that extra like mailing things out or doing any, things like that. And the cool thing about the website is like they take care of like customer service and, building the website and all of that. You're just sort of uploading your own products. So yeah, when I first started, I remember my first year, I really worked hard to like build and add some more and more things. And slowly it's grown more and more. I do like a little bit each year, like to add more to my store, but obviously since becoming a mom it's been a little more tricky. Luckily I was able to do some like establishing it before that.
I love it. Yeah, I think I looked before. Right now, you have something about like 585 products, somewhere
Maybe
close to
I
that. I literally was like looking at it before, and you have about 16,000 followers, which is fantastic. I was like, oh my goodness, this girl is rocking this store. What is your biggest seller in your TPT store?
I would say some of my like big STEM bundles. What I do is like I take like spring ideas and then I'll put them together and have like 5 or 6 spring ideas and then I'll have like an all year one. So a lot of those all year ones people really like because they buy them at the beginning of school and then they're like set for the whole year. So a lot of those like bigger bundles are important. A lot of people like my stop motion. I have like an activity with making little stop motion videos and some like building for like Legos and other things like that. So those are pretty popular.
Cool. And for anybody listening that doesn't know, what is STEM?
STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. So since I teach very young grades, I just try to kind of get them to think like outside the box and problem solve and use the engineering design process to like plan and improve and try. So I was teaching the entire school and I found that it was like really difficult to do something too complicated in only a 40-minute period. So that's why I started making a lot of my own activities and they're just like simple, but they got them to like build and get hands-on, work with the team. And that's kind of what I started putting on my store and realized there's a lot of other teachers like me who wanted to do something creative but like only have 35 minutes in their period and it's hard to do something too complex or keep projects for a long time when you've got like 300 students. So that's kind of what led me there.
Yeah, and I mean, even teaching fourth grade, one of my favorite projects at the end of the year, I always used to ask my students, what is your favorite project? And it was a Valentine's Day card delivery service. So they had like a couple of materials and they had to makeshift something that can get a Valentine from one spot of the room to the other. So STEM is huge. It's definitely growing too.
Yeah, like there's I actually was at a conference on Friday for my book and some people were like, "Oh, my school is just putting me into like including more STEM and into a new program." So it's amazing. Teachers like will write me all the time saying like, "What should I do? How do I do this?" And like I would think now like most schools have it, but so many schools are getting teachers, hiring people, so there's still like so much more, to come.
Yeah, and we are gonna come back to your book. I just have a couple more questions about TPT. So when you
Yeah.
first started, what are some of the ways that you make your items that you sell? Like what are some of the programs and things that you use?
So I pretty much use PowerPoint, which is so crazy because I am like a total Google person. I like do everything with Google. And when I started, I was like, oh, I'm totally using, Google programs to make it. But then I realized you couldn't do a lot of the moving around and the photos and things like that. So I actually use PowerPoint, which is funny. But Canva is another tool that I know a lot of other teachers use. I haven't really switched over to that because I feel like the storage is tricky. So the one thing I'd say too is whatever you use to make it, like make sure you're organizing all of your files in a nice and neat way. Make sure you have them backed up. I have all of my things like through Google Drive and I pay for a business account. So I've got like thousands and thousands of files. So yeah, you just want to make sure that things aren't just like on your computer. So I found like PowerPoint and Google Drive to actually be the easiest, and that's pretty much what I use.
Love it. So how did you learn how to make like the little characters and the cute things on PowerPoint?
Oh, well, so like any kind of characters or clip art, I actually buy from other people. So there's a lot of other teachers like me, and instead of making like STEM materials, they're making clip art. So I have a bunch of people that I've been friends, like now I've become friends with after working for a lot of years, and they're also on Teachers Pay Teachers, and they're teachers, and they make clip art. There's also a lot of teachers that make fonts, so people that I guess were really good at handwriting and like doodling and having fun with that, they have stores on Teachers Pay Teachers with only fonts. So like one girl, I think I own like 200 fonts from her, and another girl, you know, she has clip art and I have thousands of files from her, and that's like what her store is all about. So yeah, I don't make any of those like graphics. They make the graphics, and that helps make my materials cute. And you're allowed to use them since you're buying them. They have like certain, rules. You have to be careful if you're trying to like, you can't just go to Google and type like school and then take whatever pictures, because technically, you can get in trouble for that. So definitely buying stuff, browsing on Teachers Pay Teachers for other pieces you need is good.
My gosh. So basically you're supporting other teachers too by just buying some for clip art, buying some for fonts. That is awesome, and takes a lot of stress off too, because you already have the idea for STEM and it's like, oh, I don't want to do everything. So that is really cool. And then obviously when you buy it, you're just going to put somewhere that you bought it from that person. And if anybody here is thinking about doing a Teachers Pay Teachers account, I would definitely go and check out Miss Tech Queen's store, and you can see how everything is laid out. I honestly think by looking at how something is done correctly can help you, instead of making mistakes and realizing that you were supposed to give people credit when you should have.
It's always good to have like a credit page at the end where you put anything you've purchased or anyone, that you use their items for. You are supposed to do that.
When it comes to Teachers Pay Teachers, how many products do you think that you're making a month if somebody was just starting? Like, how many do you think that you would tell them to make to start out?
A month? I mean, a month, I would say. I remember someone once told me that like you want to try to get to 100 items. I don't know where that number came from, but I do feel like when I hit 100 items, like things started to like move.
Interesting.
So I feel like not that you have to get 100 items by a certain time, but like the more you get, the more your stuff gets seen and gets put out, and one thing connects to another, and more people kind of come floating by. I mean, if you're juggling being a mom, being a teacher, doing other things, then you do what you can. If you do one a month, you build it up slowly. If you can do one a week, then go for it. It depends. It can be tricky. It also depends what you're making. If you're making something simple or you're making something complex with answer keys and many sheets, and it might take some people it takes a month, and they do one item.
Now, what do you think that somebody should niche down? I know we talk about niches in all different categories, but do you think somebody starting a TPT store today should be niching it down?
Yeah, for sure. I think TPT is like definitely changing. There's a lot of people that are going on it. So the more specific you can be, and like if you find something that you really love, that you love teaching in your classroom or you love like working with, then I would focus on that. Because if you're like a 4th grade teacher and you just want to do a little bit of everything, it might be hard to get seen and found right away. So if you can do something like a little more unique, or something that makes you stand out, or something that you make because you can't find any of, then there are chances of someone else also can't find that thing, and that's kind of, what you want to target, where people want what you have.
Love. This is just all so interesting, especially just like hearing it from somebody that's so successful in this. I love learning about Teachers Pay Teachers. I'm on it just for my author stuff. So like I have a couple lesson plans for my books on there. I am nowhere near, and I need this to be so clear, maybe it's that 100 mark. I am nowhere near as successful as Miss Tech Queen. How is your store doing now? Talk a little bit, as much as you are comfortable with, about numbers and what that's bringing in for you as your hustle.
Yeah, it's definitely been an amazing journey. COVID definitely, like the pandemic, I think like brought a lot of attention to my store, because I already had digital items being in like doing technology as well. So I think when that happened and people were scrambling to find digital things to do at home, like my stuff was able to be used in both places. So I think that really helped me. During that year, my store definitely increased like way more than it probably should have because of the digital stuff. And then it did go down a bit after like 2021, but now it's been going up more and more. So it's been good. I mean, it is like a 6-figure business that I have, which is amazing because I'm doing it on the side of teaching. Thankfully, I built it up a lot, even before being a mom. And now I have to say that sometimes on some days it's just like a passive income because I don't have all the time to work on it, and I don't sometimes do anything for a few days in a row.
That is incredible. That is incredible. Congratulations. That's amazing. That is
Yeah, thank
amazing.
you. My goal for the end of last year, so 2024, PT has these little milestones that they have. So for some reason, there's like these really big. There's the first milestone is making 25,000 total. After they take their 20% cut. So they do take a cut. So the first one is 25,000 total. The second one is 75,000 total. And then for whatever reason, it jumps all the way to 500,000. So at the end of last year, my goal was to hit it because I felt like I was so close and I was like, I know I can do this. And I did, like right before the new year, I hit the 500,000 like total in like earnings that I kept after they take their 20% cut. So that was a cool
Milestone, that's incredible. I feel like that you were downplaying that so hard. Oh my gosh, 500,000.
I know, it's pretty crazy. It doesn't always click to me, but yeah, it's pretty amazing.
That should click. That is incredible. Oh my gosh. If anybody is listening here, the dream for Teachers Pay Teachers is there. And I was also thinking as we're talking, I also think homeschool moms, this could be something that they can start doing because homeschooling is getting pretty big.
Yeah.
So I feel like starting a homeschool store, if you're listening and wanted to try that as well. Oh my gosh. 500,000. Just bow down right now. Oh my gosh. What a
Yeah, and it all started like I still remember my first month ever was like $3.92. So yeah, anything is possible. And honestly, like this is my story, but there's so many that have done even way more than me and work. Some people have quit their teaching jobs depending on their states, like and their teaching salaries, and they do it full time and they do even more. So there's so many different stories, but I'm grateful all the time for this. It's helped me with things that we do in our lives, and it's definitely been helpful.
Is quitting teaching even like in your radar with the money that you're making from this, or is this just fully extra?
Yeah, not really, because I do like being in the classroom too. I mean, now that I'm a mom, it's definitely tricky juggling it all. But I feel like I work really close, like in the next town over from where I live, and I think being in the classroom helps me be creative. I feel like when I was on maternity leave and I was home, I took a year off. It was like hard, and it was weird not like the things like and while I'm teaching, there's things where I'm like, oh, I want to do this with my students. So first I make it for my own classroom. I do it with my students, and then I'm like, I'll throw it up. But really, like, it's because of my teaching that I come up with these things. So without it, I feel like I would have that gap and I would not know what to do. So, I mean, luckily in New Jersey, the teaching salary is pretty okay too. I know in some states, it's very, very low.
Yeah, for sure. I can't complain about our salary. That is such a honest opinion though, being creative in the classroom. So I've been on maternity leave for 3 years now. And I can tell you, like my kids are keeping me up with the children's books, but as far as the Teachers Pay Teachers, I have not been able to think of anything outside of just stuff for my books. So that is such a true point. Wow. Love that.
Yeah, it's hard.
What is a piece of advice someone would normally have to pay for, but you're willing to share with us today?
Well, if you're going on Teachers Pay Teachers, the one important thing you want to think about is your search. So the biggest thing, just like anything, if you're selling books on Amazon or whatever, you want your stuff to pop up. So I think the most important thing is getting found, which has to do with your wording and like what kind of search and keywords you're using.
Mm-hmm.
You're naming something, you don't want to name it like a cutesy name or something fun. Like you can put that on your cover, your preview, just like, a book title, but you want to type in your title like what someone would search for. So like they might be searching for like spring STEM activities. You want to call it that. You don't want to call it like build a caterpillar and stacking caterpillar, because they're probably not typing exactly that in. So definitely make sure you're using keywords so that your things get seen. And another great thing to have is an email list, even if you start small. But just like what happened in like the winter with TikTok and people were freaking out because there might not be any more TikTok. Like if something ever happened to Instagram, Facebook, like social media, whatever, then all of those people that follow you are gone. So the best thing to do is to have an email, because at least those people you can keep and you can send something like right to them.
Yeah, no, 100%. I don't know if you remember, but like it was what, like 2 or 3 years ago when Instagram and Facebook just shut down for the day, and like when everybody was freaking out, and I feel like that's when email list was like, you gotta get an email list.
Yeah, because it's like you do never know.
Yeah, seriously, great advice. Great advice. Okay, let's shift a little bit. So you wrote a children's book. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, that was another like spot that I just felt like had a gap. I like to always tie in literacy to my lessons. So before doing any kind of like building or challenge, I read some kind of book, like whether it's seasonal or it's something to do with, a specific person, like whatever the theme is. And I felt like there was no book that just was like, what's STEM? Like, what's each letter mean? Like, what does that even mean? So I came up with this idea, and I actually wrote the words like while I was on maternity leave. And then it took a while to like, get time to get it all together. Around last spring, I was like, I need to sit down and just do this. I've had this here, like, let's just go. And so I got like the photos put together, the illustrations, and I got an editor, and then I decided to kind of just print it myself. I wasn't sure about the whole publisher route. It's tough because a lot, like, I don't know, that's just a whole different thing. So I just decided to like just put out my own money and print them. And yeah, my basement's like full of boxes of books if I showed you around. But hopefully, I can get them out there too. I kind of haven't had much time to do that as much as I want to. But yeah, I read it to my own students and they all liked it. They were excited. So it's fun.
That is so exciting. Yeah, congratulations on your book. My goodness. Yeah. And I like that it's all tied together to your brand, right? Like you have one very specific message that you're trying to get out there. And I will add, I really do think that that helps in any business that you do, is having a specific message that you are so passionate about clearly to make all these projects and to do all these things. Like to have that, I honestly think is a must and a key to grow your business. Now, would you say mindset plays a part in any of your business or what you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, there's days where I think I get in my own head and I feel like I'm not doing enough. I feel like I should be doing more. And then I like have to take a step back and be like, look at all the things that I'm doing. Like other people get home from work and just watch TV for 5 hours, and I don't really take a break, because if I'm relaxing by working on my computer. So yeah, I think I definitely get in my head and I like get harder on myself than I should be.
Can we just take a moment to hear that somebody who hit such a massive milestone of 500,000 also being in her own head about not doing enough? Okay.
Yeah, that's
So
just how I always am.
I love that so much. I just like, because it just makes you real, right? Like even though you've hit all these massive milestones that honestly I feel like I would hysterically cry for and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. You nonchalantly said it, number one, so that is incredible. And number two, you were just like, yeah, I'm still hard on myself. And it's like, oh my gosh, that is so incredible, because I feel like in our own minds, we're always like, oh, this person is doing so good. They probably don't even think twice about it. This person's doing so good. And that's not the case. We literally all live in our own heads in this like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I'm never doing enough. I'm not good enough.
Yeah. And definitely like the comparison, because like
Yep.
with social media, there's a lot of teachers, there's a lot of people, like some people, do seem really big, and they might be doing the same, like, everyone's got their own thing, like you're saying. So definitely not comparing, which is sometimes easier said than done, but like everyone has their own path and their own journey. I try to like remember that too. And even if it's just like anything else, somebody might go to one restaurant and not the one next door, but like it'll be time for them to see and go and whatnot.
For sure. For sure. Oh my goodness. I just like, It's so funny because we've met in person. Like, we've talked in person, and you did not even talk about your TPT store. Like, all we talked about was your book and, and then asking you to come on here. I was like, oh my gosh, she does have a TPT store. I think she does. And to hear like how much you've accomplished with this, like, I just really hope that you notice that. It's incredible. Like, that is such an accomplishment. And honestly, from somebody who has one, it takes work, guys. Like, any of these side hustles, especially to get to the point that she's at. I told you she has 585 products. It takes time. It takes energy, and it takes a passion. I really do believe that, especially trying to find which ones work for you. If you're chasing money, you're just chasing. But if you're chasing your passion, money just kind of follows. And I honestly stand by that. I really do believe that that's
I mean, I have to say it's always been like fun for me. Like, it's always made me feel creative, pushed me to do things. Like, I find it relaxing. Before marriage and a baby, I would be on my computer till 11 o'clock at night, like for hours. But like, that was my way to relax. Like, I'm not like a huge TV person. So like, I would just work on my computer, and I liked it. Getting married, it was kind of like, all right, take a step down again, kind of do things with my husband, blah, blah, blah. Then having a kid, it's tricky too. So yeah, now I'm trying to juggle everything, and thank God I built a lot up before, and that's helped me. But yeah, it's not always easy. I mean, I was waking up like at earlier in the morning, like 5:30, like working a little bit before I wake up my daughter, before I go to my teaching job. I try not to go on the computer late at night because I feel like I get sucked in, and then it's like 10 o'clock and my brain is wired. So I try to set that boundary for myself, like no going on at night, because my brain gets way too wired and I can't fall asleep, and then I'm tired. So yeah, I think like if you're looking to start it and you are a mom, or even if you have another job, you want to do this on the side, you definitely have to just set up some like schedules. I try to, like, when I do sit down, at least try to be productive and effective, and not like, waste too much time.
Yeah.
And just at least get things done in the small time that I have.
For sure. I do agree with that too, like sticking to some sort of routine, finding it. And I do believe that helps. Like, I'll even set an alarm on my phone. And when that alarm goes off every single day, it's like, okay, sit down. It's time to do something. Like, sit down.
That's a good idea.
It helps me because I feel like I barely even look at my phone most of the time. And then it's like, oh my gosh, 8:30. Way past when I should have sat down to do something. It can for sure. Okay, what does being a money-hungry mama mean to you?
I would say like just a go-getter, right? Because you're doing a lot, so you want to just do more to provide for your family. Obviously everyone can do what they can do, but I think someone who's just going for more and more.
I love it. Yeah. No, 100%. We're all out here just trying to be the best moms we can be, while also trying to provide a little bit more. I love that.
Yeah.
So where can our listeners find you and support you?
Well, my brand is Miss Tech Queen, which actually, funny story, but it actually comes from one of my students. Like, when I taught 5th and 6th grade technology about 10 years ago, my students would say, "You're the Tech Queen," and one of them like drew me something that said Tech Queen, and I was like, you know what? I was like coming up with the name, and I was like, I'm gonna say that because that was like a fun name. So, full circle to it's my students that, inspire me and help motivate me. So I am on Miss Tech Queen. I have social media all over, website. If you're interested in the book for your classroom or your child, you can find it on my website too. Let's Explore STEM.
My gosh, I am so excited that you came on. I've learned so much. This is incredible. I have no idea how successful you were. That is incredible. And honestly, I really do hope that you know how big of an accomplishment that is. And we are so lucky to be able to hear from you today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you so much for coming on today. It was an absolute pleasure to speak with you, and hopefully we'll hear from you again soon.
Yes, thanks for having me. I'm excited for your podcast, and I can't wait to hear all your other guests too.
Whew. How amazing was that? Huge thank you to Miss Tech Queen for dropping so much value and inspiration today. If you're a teacher, a creator, or a multitasking mama ready to turn your talents into income, Let this be your Stein. Start messy, stay consistent, and believe it's possible. Be sure to follow Ms. Tech Queen at Ms. Tech Queen and check the show notes for all the resources we talked about. And hey, if you love this episode, do me a favor, rate, review, and share it with a mama who needs the motivation in her earbuds. Until next time, stay bold, stay brilliant, and stay money hungry.